Hey, we're the Flick Chicks.
I'm Anne.
And I'm Monica.
And this is where we explore how words come off the page and go onto the silver screen.
Oh, yes.
I didn't even say this is the episode, but this is the episode where we do that.
I think they understand it's the episode. Yes. So today, if you couldn't already tell, we are talking about book to movie adaptations.
Yes, we are.
I'm not saying we're book experts. However, me and Anne have been around the field a little bit with books. We both like to read.
Yeah, I'm going to call myself a book expert because you know why?
Most you are going to call yourself a book expert?
Yes, kids don't read. Don't lie to us, kids. We know you're not reading. True.
I feel like you either read or you don't. Like it's kind of just like, yeah. So. I just want to say I feel like my scope is a little bit limited because I read a lot of books and I watch a lot of movies, but the books that I've read that have been turned into movies have usually been like young adult fiction.
I should disclose books. That we are expert on young adult fiction.
I can have a conversation about that. I don't know like all of them because when I was like doing research for this, like I found a lot of book to movie adaptations that A, I didn't even know were books, and B, I just never read. I just watched the movies because it's like like a lot of those I feel like aren't as known. Like books that aren't as known and then they get into movies and the movies super popular, but I'm pretty good at the ones where like the books were really known and then they got turned into movies. I think I can I dabble a little,
like movies that got made because there was such a fan base behind it, because there are movies that are made but it's like like they just paid the author some money to like not get copyright infringements, if you will. It's more
pretty much
so there's two
because they just they probably like read it, like somebody read it and said, oh, this would make a good movie, but then there's the ones where it's like, this book is so popular we need to make it a movie to make money, kind of thing,
for sure,
to capitalize off of the whatever idea. So I guess we can just get started.
Yes, we can.
Well, what are some of the ones you think are like, what are some of your favorite book to movie adaptations?
Favorites. Some of these, again, like I said, I discovered while looking up lists and I was like, what? So then I'm like, well, it has to go on my list. I think more obvious ones, I'm just going to get them out of the way. How to Train Your Dragon, based off of
that was a book?
Series of book. Yes.
But did you read it?
No, it's a series of children's book. I think I read the first one though, to be honest, with my sister. But
are we talking our favorites? Like when we're talking about our favorites, are we talking about ones that we read? Because I specifically talked about ones that I read because I feel like the only way to know if it's a good book to movie adaptation is if you read the book, right?
Some of them I read after, so it was like,
I feel like that's fine. I feel like as long as you know what the book, because what if the book's terrible and like the movie's really good, or vice versa? What if you think the movie's really good and then you read the book and you're like, no, this is not the same thing at all. Not the good book.
No, most of them I have a mix of both. Some of them I have not read the book, some of them I have. So How to Train Your Dragon, though, I did read the first one afterwards.
So it was based on a series of books. I didn't know.
Yes, it's like a series of children's books. So that's what I mean. Like I didn't read it as a kid. No. But then
so would you say that the movie's a good adaptation?
I do think it's a good adaptation.
Interesting.
I think it like obviously matures it, like the children's book. Children's book, so I think that was a good adaptation. That's one of my good ones, I would say. Another obvious one is The Hunger Games. Like we've talked about this. Series.
I had that on my list too. Because I recently reread the whole series and watched the movies. I don't want to say they're the movies aren't perfect. Obviously, there's certain things that you can like. But the thing is, I feel like what they did have to leave out, it kind of just made sense. Like it was nothing like too crazy where they left things out where you're like, why would you do that? That's so stupid. Like you could tell like some certain things that they had to change because of like timing or whatever.
I didn't think it was.
I think the first movie was like a really good adaptation of the book.
I thought a lot of people were like, I got a lot of mixed reviews from when I remember when it first came out. Like as in from fans, some people were like, I hate what they did, and then some people were like, it was amazing. Exactly. To me, I was very like, coming out of it, I was like kind of indifferent. I was just like, they did, like, it wasn't amazing as a movie itself, I would say that. But in terms of like as an adaptation, I was like, no, this is a fair adaptation.
I mean, I really liked it as a movie. I mean, I read the book series like for the very first time because I saw the trailer for the movie that was coming out.
Yeah,
like, I hadn't watched the movie yet, but yeah, I saw the trailer and I was like, what is that? That looks cool. And then I found out that it was based on a book series, so I decided to read the book series. I read the whole series before the movie came out so I could watch it.
Same,
but like, I don't know, I feel like I've found myself since then rewatching the movie a bunch of times. Like, I personally enjoy the movies.
Really? I don't.
A lot.
To be fair,
especially Catching
Hunger
Fire.
Games was never exactly. That's what I was gonna say. The Hunger Games, like the first book, wasn't my favorite. Catching Fire is my favorite one. So
Me too,
I found myself rewatching that. Or if I watch Hunger Games, it's because I want to watch Catching Fire. Does that make sense? It's never like,
like Catching Fire was like the superior book and the superior movie.
A superior book and movie. So I felt that's why I felt like Hunger Games, like, that's why I didn't feel strongly about it, as in a way I'm going to be like, oh, this was like so not like the, because I was like, it is like how the book is, you know, like I can't knock
like
them
for
that.
They took out obviously some things, but that has to be expected. But I feel like they didn't make any like super dumb changes. We'll get into that when we get into our least favorites, because it's possible to make some very stupid changes. If you make
changes that had nothing to like, didn't help anything, or
like you could tell you could tell someone who's sitting in the room being like, no, I don't like that, we're gonna make it something different. Like, no. There's a reason you're going off of a book. Just use what you are given. I know the Hunger Games is definitely was on my list. Speaking of like popular YA book to movie adaptations from like the 2012 2013 whatever, that, you know, that era where everything was getting made into a movie. I have on my list The Fault in Our Stars. Although it's a super cheesy story, I will not deny that. I'm looking strictly at like how the movie was adapted from the book. And although there's like a couple things that I wish they had done differently, I think overall was a pretty good adaptation of the story. Like, I feel like it captured the vibe of the book really well. I don't know how to explain the vibe of the book. It's like that kind of quirky, like, oh, I'm not like other girls type of thing. I don't know, that kind of vibe. I feel like I really got that in the movie. And like the whole visuals of the movie, I feel like were pretty much exactly how I imagined it in my head when I was reading the book. So I don't know, I think that's I think that's a pretty good one.
I don't know, I didn't like it, to be honest, the movie. I don't remember why. I didn't finish it, the movie, so I found it a little slow, I guess, because I didn't finish it. I read the book and I liked the book. I thought
the book is honestly really good. Like, it's a pretty good book. It's cheesy, but it's good.
Yeah, like people say that and I'm like, whatever. Like, I don't like that excuse, something's cheesy. I'm like, give me I just don't like that word. I feel like people can say, like, they're like, oh, the plot is simple or it's too, you know, romance driven. Like, you can tell me that, but if you're gonna just tell me something's cheesy, I'm gonna be like, okay, I can't have a conversation with you. That's just a general, like, how I feel about things. If
I could go into depth. I mean, I could do a full review.
I know you can. Yeah, I trust you.
I just like I can see why people don't like it, kind of thing. Like, it's kind of like a little, like, I don't want to say cringy, but a bit like, it's just like, you know, teenagers. We talked about this before, but teenagers who speak like philosophers, that always kind of bothers me a little bit. Sure. It's kind of that type of movie, that type of book and movie. But I don't know. I personally enjoyed the movie. I don't know. I guess that's
I don't know. I just didn't find it entertaining. I wasn't
I think the one thing I wish they had changed was, because in the book, Isaac, I think that's the friend's name. Isaac?
The blind.
The blind. He was way funnier in the book than in the movie. I feel like he was super bland in the movie. That was like the one main problem I had with it.
I think the comedy was missing too, and I do believe that in the movie, I feel like the book was actually like kind of funny. Like, she said,
it was really funny.
She was really sarcastic. Like, I actually like that about her. The main character. Sorry, I forgot her name. But is it Hazel? It's probably wrong.
Yeah, Hazel. Hazel.
Oh, is it? Oh, I was right. Okay, there you go. Yeah, but
I don't know. I looking at it as a movie, I don't know. I think mostly I like it just because, again, I think it just captured the vibe a little bit. And I don't know. When I read a book, I imagine it so clearly in my head, and I feel like the way they adapted it was super close to how I imagined it in my head. I don't know, just the visuals and the vibe, and I don't know. It's hard to explain the vibe of something, but I wasn't like blown away or even entertained. As I said, I didn't finish it, so I can't say it, but I feel like I'm very bare minimum. I can't really say that it's like there's no like full reason. I just didn't feel maybe the energy that the book had in terms of like comedy, the wittiness and all that, like
quick fire thing. I do agree, yeah, like they don't talk like real teenagers in the book or period at all.
But I mean, at least they did it in the book and the movie. So.
Yeah, exactly. But I still thought it was funny. I still thought it was in the book. Yeah. But yeah.
I mean, 13-year-old me was very satisfied with that movie. I laughed, I cried, you know.
To be honest, I didn't. Have you rewatched it since?
I haven't watched it in a long time.
Because I didn't watch it when it came out. I watched it later. Like, I was like, I had read the book around the time when the movie came out, but I didn't, for some reason, I don't know, like time or whatever, it just didn't work out for me to go see it in theaters. And then I feel like I didn't want to. I was like, oh, it's so sad. I don't want to go watch it in theaters. I'm one of those. And and then I ended up watching it maybe like 2 years later. So
see, I remember I read the book and I watched the movie really like close together.
Yeah. So I feel like you would feel that like it's on the screen, like, you know, shock factor.
That's probably what it was.
But I watched it like after and I was like, like I didn't want to. It was on Netflix for a while, so I think that's where.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think it did a good job at just capturing the whole John Green book aesthetic type of thing. Yeah. You know. Ian, okay. Putting down. We're picking up what I'm putting down.
I mean, you know. It did what it had to do.
It did what it had to. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's an extraordinary movie as it in itself, like by itself. That's a whole different conversation. But I'm saying as an adaptation, I was pretty satisfied with it. Maybe that's just me being bare minimum. Like whenever someone doesn't, like whenever they go in and not change literally everything, I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing.
See, I'm like I'm always like, oh, you should have added a little something, unless it's like, or change stuff like to make it more visual. I like that a lot. Like if they're able to, this is a little harder because it's literally just like a romantic story, so they can't really like add stuff versus like for example in the Hunger Games, like it was cool to see how they like built the world and stuff, you know. You know, it's like the set design can be really intense and really cool when it comes
and I think the reason Hunger Games I like the movie so much, I think, is because when I first read the books, again because I like to visualize everything, like it gets kind of confusing in the books because it's such like a complicated world and really the descriptions are kind of really complicated. So it was really nice to actually see it because some parts in my head I didn't really understand. Like for example, like I don't know, the layout of the arena or even if they're describing like something that she's wearing or whatever, it was really hard sometimes to visualize because of, I don't know, just her writing style, I guess. So it was really nice to actually see it on the screen. So I like that. But yeah, anyways. What else?
I agree. I think the Hunger Games was really hard to visualize. Literally, spoiler alert, when Finnick died, I didn't even know what was happening. I had to go back.
No idea what was going on.
Like it was hard. It was hard to. So the movie really helped with that. But
and I mean, I guess like another spoiler alert at the end of Catching Fire, when they're in the arena still, but then she gets like taken out of the arena, that whole that part confusing. I did not understand what was going on during that scene, but then when I watched in the movie I was like, oh, that's what it was. Oh, that's what was happening. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, this is sorry, I'm gonna go off topic again. We're gonna go too into topic, if you will. Did you understand why she shot the thing? She just felt like she wanted to, like she was like F the man, and then she shot the sky. Like I was like,
okay, so what I think happened, I think I understand. So and I only discovered this after watching Catching Fire like this past month, like recently, and I'm like, oh, that's why. So when she gets back up the hill, like after Joanna takes the tracker out of her arm and she's looking for PETA or whatever, she gets to the big tree and she sees that Beatty was knocked out, right? So he was knocked out because he tried to throw a spear at the force field with the wire.
Oh, and she could see that. She understood that.
Yeah, so she saw that and understood. That's why in the book and in the movie they show her like finding a spear with like the wire wrapped around it, and she's like, what? Like what is this? And then like it clicks in her head that that's what he was trying to do. And they changed it in the movie. In the movie they showed Finnick saying like, remember who the real enemy is, but that wasn't in the book. Finnick was just still looking for her. But she kind of like, I guess she kind of like trusted whatever Beatty was trying to do. So she remembered before how she could get her arrow to the thing. So she wrapped her whatever.
Oh, okay.
Thingy, the wire around her arrow, and then shot
I just didn't get that she understood what Beatty was trying to do.
Yeah, so she was really confused because like she goes back and she sees Beatty knocked out because he was trying to throw the spear at the force field. So she's like, why was he trying to do that? Clearly there was some other big plan going on, but yeah.
Oh, I see. she's a smart girl, because I would have been like, okay. Whoops.
I didn't understand that until like last month, but yep.
Okay, nice. Okay, my next fave is gonna come to a surprise, I think, because I don't think a lot of people know this is, or at least I didn't. Again, this is one of the things where I read after. It is Mrs. Doubtfire.
I did not know that was a book.
I know. It's not the same name. The book is Madame Doubtfire. Sorry, if you will. Literally same plot. Like, there's no difference.
It's the exact same.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is it like a novel or like a kid?
No, it's like a children's book. If you, it is a children's novel, like a tween novel. Is that how you would say it?
Right.
Like a little chapter book for like kids or whatever.
Right.
But I did read that. Rented it from the library. The book is really funny. I think it's hilarious. But the movie's really funny. So I have sense. It was well done. And it also took I like when movies are able to take like a really good, simple story and make a movie out of it. Does that make sense? Like the idea is good. Like that whole idea that a dad divorcee is trying to, spend more time with his kids. So he dresses up as a woman to spend more time with them. And obviously them casting Robin Williams, excellent.
That casting is really good.
Exactly. So I feel like the book was made, I had no idea about that, but it was made in 1982 or something like that, or 1987. So it was and then the book, how after the movie was made, was pretty not that far off in time after that.
Yeah, I think it was the early 90s probably.
Yeah, 93. So I think it was just a good adaptation. I think it was a good idea to take that story and just make it into a movie. I don't know what else to say about it. It's hilarious.
I haven't read the book. I didn't even know it was a book, so.
I know,
yeah. No, it's interesting.
It's pretty, not a lot of people know that one, so it goes, it's a pretty interesting.
There's one that I also read after watching the movie that I ended up really liking, and it's The Help.
Yes.
So it's kind of the same kind of concept in the movie, how in the movie it's based around this girl who's writing a book about, it's like a book within a movie. And then the book is a book within a book. So it's it's that same kind of thing where the book is her writing about the stories, making a book called, it's confusing, but it's a book within a book. But I think they did a really good job. I really loved the book, and I kind of think they made the main ladies in that movie even more racist, I guess. They made them more intense, which I think was really appropriate.
Because they were bad.
Because they were it made it kind of better for screen, I guess, if they were more kind of dramatic. So I really liked that. And I really liked all the characters.
Does it end the same way? Sorry, just to ask.
How does it end?
Because in the movie, she just she has to quit the job with the family, and then the little white baby is crying through the window. That's pretty much
that happens, and then she gets a new job at the other house, and then
she gets a new job at the other.
Yeah, I think the book, it's she publishes the book 3/4 of the way through, and then I think I haven't read the book in a long time actually, but I might reread it honestly. But I'm pretty sure it's told from different perspectives. I could be wrong.
That's cool.
Because it's her writing the stories, right? It's all the different maids stories. So you get to see into all of their households or whatever. So yeah, I remember there's one point where there's a scene, it's a 2-second scene in the movie where one of the ladies, the racist ladies, is reading the book, and then she sees the part about how she ate the shit pie, and then she starts screaming or whatever. I remember that in the book. But no, I think it's pretty spot on with what happens in the book. It's super similar, but it still kind of has that same feel to it. But I remember reading the book. I really loved the book and I loved the movie, so I was really happy with both of those. So yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That was a good one.
That is good. I have not read the book. I have watched the movie.
I need to reread it, honestly. It was really good.
But I know it's fiction. I didn't know that at first.
It's fiction. I mean, it's obviously not, it's not pretty far off from
real
life, but yeah.
It's a fictional book. Because a lot of movies, let's be honest, a lot of slave movies are based off true recounting. So it's one of the only ones that I had seen that was based off just fiction. And this is dark. Probably why I had a happy ending. So happy-ish ending. So I was like, oh, it's not real. Okay. It's
not always happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think how many. I'm literally looking at my list, seeing which ones I've done.
I mean, I have a couple other that you can kind of bunch together. But there was a couple of like books that we read at school that we ended up watching the movie for that I really liked. Like To Kill a Mockingbird. I really liked the To Kill a Mockingbird movie. I think it was really good. I like how it's like an old movie. I feel like it kind of fits a bit better. Like, you know what I mean? If it was like a modern adaptation, I think I wouldn't like it as much. Because I'm pretty sure the movie is like from the 50s or 60s. It's black and white. I know that. It's an old movie.
Yeah.
And the actor for Atticus Finch is really good in that one. And what's her name? What's the girl's name? Scout?
Yes.
You read?
No, we did not.
You did not read To Kill a Mockingbird? Oh my
goodness. I just know the overall plot, like, because, you know, like things you just know, like Romeo and Juliet too, which I have not read either.
Oh, we read that one.
Yeah,
well, actually, okay. I know like a lot of like literary people or like whatever. A lot of people just don't like Romeo and Juliet. I honestly really liked it. I thought it was really good. I think it's a really interesting story.
I haven't read it, so I can't.
I feel like I feel like just because it's like one of those classic, like every romance thing ever is based on Romeo and Juliet, but like as a play, like within itself, if you just read the play, it's pretty entertaining in my opinion. There's like this whole like war going on with like the families and the whatever, and it's like, you know, I think it's pretty good.
I mean, it's a good plot. I like the plot, I could say that.
I honestly, I actually didn't have this on my list, but I personally, kind of controversial, some people hate this, but I like the modern Romeo and Juliet adaptation, the one where they use the same script, like the same dialogue, but it's in a modern setting, like the Leonardo DiCaprio one. I really like that one. I think it's a really interesting, whether it's a good adaptation or not, I don't know, but I love the idea of it, like the idea to make it modern but with the same dialogue. Yeah, it makes it seem kind of cheesy when you watch it, like kind of like dramatic, over dramatic, because that's the type of language. But I thought it's like a super smart idea to do that. And I think Leonardo DiCaprio. It takes some creativity. I like that. It as a movie, I can't say it's my like a fave. Like I wouldn't put it on there. Yeah. I enjoy the fresh take on like an adaptation, like for sure. I think it was. But yeah, back to Kill a Mockingbird. I think the movie was really good. We watched it in class when we read the book, and I thought it was really good. That is kind of did the same thing as the Hunger Games, where there's some parts of the book that are a little hard to visualize, and then they did that in the movie, so I understood kind of what was going on after that. But then like a couple other ones that we read in class, I liked The Outsiders. We read The Outsiders. The book better though. Still, I like the book better, but the movie was so good. Like I like I hate that I'm using this word. I love the aesthetic of it, like, you know, the 80s, like the cute 80s boys or whatever. Oh, they were fine. Yeah, and I feel like the emotion was very well conveyed. Like when spoiler alert, when Ponyboy, the other kid, not Ponyboy. Ponyboy didn't die. That one kid that died. His name starts with a J. The dying kid says "Stay gold, Ponyboy" as he's dying. You're right. I forgot what his name is. Starts with a J, like. Oh my god! I don't know. I read it in 8th grade. I don't remember, but I just remember I liked the movie a lot. And also, maybe some people didn't like this one either, but I liked The Great Gatsby movie for a specific reason. To be honest, but oh my goodness, these are all books that I read at school. But I know a lot of people don't like The Great Gatsby movie as an adaptation, but I like it. Specifically, I like whether they Johnny took is his name. Sorry, Johnny. yes. yes. But I like this. I'm gonna get into this when we talk about like book to me adaptations in general. But I like The Great Gatsby movie because it's kind of like they really made a movie. You know, it stands alone as an actual movie with good cinematography, like interesting cinematography, and the costumes and the colors and everything. Like they really like played up the movie aspect of it, so that even if the book, like the plot points aren't the exact same as the book, it's still a really good movie. In and of itself, I guess. Like it's just like super nice to look at, I guess. So I really like that about it. I see. But, okay. I'm gonna name another one. I think it's still gonna be a surprise. I feel like I tell this one to everyone, that I'm like, I was shook when I found this out, but and it's not like a big movie, okay? But
Lemonade Mouth.
Right.
Based off a book. Mm-hmm. The book is actually better. I
was gonna say, did you read the book? I haven't read the book.
Yeah, I did. The book was better. I think the trend you're gonna see is all the misses are usually books I've read before the movie came out. And then all my favorites are like I've seen the movie and then I find out there's a book and then I'm like, oh, movie was still good, but like book's better. But like
because I think then you get the chance to form your own opinion about the movie first.
Exactly. Because it does
watch the movie with
cover your eyes.
expectation.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't deny that you're going to want certain things. Like even if it's tiny, like, oh, I wish she was like, you know, had the blue eyes that she hid in the freaking book. Mm-hmm. But I think with coming in with no expectations at first and then later reading the book, you're like, both of these are standalone art pieces, if you will, and they do really well. But anyways, on to Lemonade Mouth. The book, I always tell people read it because Disney really Disney-ified the book. Because the book is way more like raunchy and like a lot more swearing, cussing, a lot of more like how like literal teenagers would act. Like it's actually really good for that. Like the reason, I don't know if people are going to be this specific, but in the movie, Wendell gets, you know, sent to detention because he his like stepmom shows up and then he like insults his teacher, says, "Are you stupid?" or something, right?
Yeah.
In the book, his stepmom had switched the folder, like just in the movie, but it was like a bunch of nude drawings.
Oh, I think I remember reading about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he had to go present, but he got a boner because he looked at the pictures, right?
Oh,
so then he didn't want to go up. So then he like, I think he said something rude to the teacher or something like that. And he still had to go up, and then people at school started calling him Woody. Like, that was his new nickname.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm just saying, like, that's just an example of, like, small differences. But even in the movie, you can see that, like, even for Disney, they had to push a little bit of the back. Like, one of the main characters' dad is incarcerated, right? Which is, like, not really a topic that a lot of, any children's movie will, or whatever, teens.
Right, yeah.
Movies will explore.
I kind of want to read the book now.
Yeah, so I feel like they definitely were able to take the elements of the book that are mature, but without, maybe having to commit to all of it. But I think it's a good book, and the book is actually more realistic in terms of, like, how they become a band. It's not, like, they don't just make up songs. It's, like, they played a song that they knew, and they were like, oh, my gosh, like, So,
but, like, so organic. you think the movie is a good adaptation of the
I still think it's a good adaptation because it's a good standalone movie. The music is banging. Like, it's amazing. I think, and I think I don't mind when a movie takes stuff from a book, like I said, and does go in its own direction, but still takes the core of, like, the core plot points, if that makes sense, right? Like, not changing too much. They did change one big thing, but I don't want to spoil it for you. But
yeah, don't spoil it, because I kind of want to read the book now.
Yeah, there is one part you're probably going to be like, why did they just stick to the book with that part? But, whatever. Okay. But it's still overall a really good adaptation. So I will say that. Also, there's, like, I'm pretty sure Lemonade Mouth has a sequel, even the book itself. So I'm like, why didn't they make a movie sequel? Like,
hello.
What are you doing? So, yeah, that's another example of a good movie to, the other way around.
Book to movie adaptation.
Book to movie adaptation. Yeah, really into that one.
Do you have any other favorite ones?
Any other favorites? On my list. So, this one's kind of cheating, but I'm still going to put it on there. Pursuit of Happiness is based off the autobiography of the guy who, Chris Gardner, the guy who actually went through everything that...
I never watched the movie. I know of
really?
it. I don't know even what it's about. I just know it's like Will Smith.
Amazing. I had to put it on because I remember this so specifically. This is one of the first movies I ever cried in, like, whenever. Okay? It came out in, like, 2006, so I was probably, like, 6 or 7 when I watched it with my parents. And I remember crying at a certain scene and running to the bathroom to, like, hide because I wasn't sure that this was normal. Like, to cry in movies. Like, I thought it was, like, weird because, like, it had never come up to me. Like, that not be an experience of mine, if you will.
I mean, yeah, because when you're a kid, every movie's like happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like every movie tries its best to make you super happy or whatever, and they don't.
So it was the first like adult, if you will, movie that I had watched. So yeah, I was probably 6. So I was like coming off of like, you know, Sesame Street. So it's like not expecting like someone who's going homeless with his son, you know. So I didn't read the whole complete autobiography. I just have seen snippets of it, but I still think it's, even though I said it's cheating because they really did the movie based off his real life. That's basically what they're doing. But I still want to give it credit just because it's one of my favorite movies ever. So I think it did a really good job of not like, there's some parts that they did take out from his actual life to make it less. Because his real life sucked. I don't even like his mom was an addict. He was like raped by a man at one point. Like he went through hell and back. This guy, right? Basically, the movie just, you know what it's about. Like basically it's just like a rags to riches kind of like underdog story, basically, where
I never watched the movie, so
where basically he has a son and the mom abandons them, so he's like single-handedly raising his son while also trying to like he's doing an unpaid internship to try to become like a stockbroker, and everyone's telling him that he's crazy because it's like, how are you going to do an unpaid internship when you have like a son to take care of and like all this stuff. Anyways, but it's a movie about perseverance, obviously, and like, and it also shows how brilliant people, like this whole idea of like, oh, you know, if you don't make it, it's because it's your fault. Like that whole idea, like people kind of have that. Like if you're homeless, it's your fault. If you're whatever, you know, you probably did this to yourself. It's not that hard, right?
Yeah.
And this movie shows that like the smartest of people, because he's a really smart guy, but he's been given a lot of terrible situations. So it's like, he can only do so much with what he's given, right? But obviously he's able to do a lot with it in the end. But I think it's on Netflix, by the way. But that's just
I've seen it. I've passed by it on Netflix so many times, and I'm like, I wondered. I knew it was Will Smith and Jaden Smith, but
Jaden Smith. They did amazing. Loved it. It didn't really get that much like critic review. Actually, I'm seeing that on Rotten Tomatoes, but like audience wise, like I knew like as a whole, a lot of people were like, this is a movie that's like amazing. So I mean,
I'm gonna add that to my list.
I'm a big fan of that movie. One of my all-time favorites, period.
Wow.
I think that's pretty much it for my books in terms of
I mean, we can start getting into
my favorites.
We can start I think we can start getting into the
misses,
the trash. Because there's a
you know what's funny? Let me just get this out of the way. One of my misses, I'm just noticing, was The Fault in Our Stars.
Oh my goodness. I think that's just a personal opinion.
We could just get that out of the way, because I've just said, like, I just didn't think it was as charismatic. I think that's the word I should use.
Yeah, that's a good
Not as charismatic as the book, and
I can see
for
that.
me, that was a miss. But obviously, the other stuff on my list are actual misses. This was just like I didn't like it.
Like the ones I have on my list are like truly like
I try not to put only trash, because it's like let's diversify, but you know,
I feel like we might have some of the same ones.
I'm sure you know one of them for sure.
I mean, I'll say the first one because I know we both have it on our list. Percy Jackson.
Yes, of course. First one.
Hot garbage. Like who? First of all, who did that? Like who decided that was a good idea?
I don't know who.
They literally. If you haven't read the book or watched the Percy Jackson movie, let me just break it down for you. They changed so many things.
They did.
For stupid reasons. Like, no reason. Like, it's not timing, whatever. Nope. First of all, this movie is about a 12-year-old boy. If you want to make him, like, 14, 15, like, 13, 14, fine. But making him, like, 16 being played... I love Logan Lerman, don't get me wrong.
I know.
But making him 16 being played by like a 20-something-year-old, like it just doesn't make sense. First of all,
it was great casting if it was done years ago. He would have been perfect years ago.
I hated what they did with Annabeth's character. And see, I actually watched the movie before reading the book.
Oh, I did not know that about you. Wow.
Yeah, I actually read the book recently, like a couple months ago for the first time. And Annabeth's character trash. Like, why did they do that to her? She was supposed to be like the super nerdy, like
smart, really smart, courageous,
innocent, like, you know, like nerdy. She was like a nerd, you know. She was like and she didn't really have that many friends at the camp. Like, she was kind of just like, you know,
she was strong though, like not
architecture books and whatever. But they made her into like some next like super like, I don't know, try to make her super hot. Like,
who's the Aries girl? They made her into her. Clarice.
Pretty much, yeah.
They basically made her into a hot Clarice.
And like they just made her into like the love interest right off the bat, which was
that was
how it works.
Sole purpose. I was so mad. I'm literally I haven't watched the movie in years, but you're like reviving all the things that are wrong with it in my heart.
It's just not it. It's really not. And they no. It's bad. Don't do it. It makes sense that Rick Riordan, who wrote the book, hates the adaptation. He literally pretends it doesn't exist.
Yes, just like
also because they didn't even get his approval really on anything.
I just don't understand. Like, I kind of wish Rick had held the books hostage. I don't know if he's allowed to do that because I don't know how much he has like ownership of.
Well, I think once you sell the rights, you technically can't really do anything. It's up to the people making the movie to decide how much they want to involve you.
No, I'm saying like I don't even think he had that much say in the rights. Does that make sense? So I think like he probably sold the book to his editor, obviously, like the company, and then the editor company is going to be like, if someone's offering them like this much money for it, they're going to be like, Rick, we're using your book, you know? He might not have to negotiate this whole like, hey, you can make the movie if I'm involved. Like how
that's what I'm saying. I think you kind of either sell the rights or you don't. And then after that, I've heard authors talking about this before, but after you sell the rights, technically the author has no say in anything that goes on. It's only up to the producers to decide if they want to involve the author. Yes. They can choose to, but they don't have to. They can literally take your rights and do whatever they want with the movie and change everything if they want to. But it just sucks. Like I
just feel like for such a big franchise, it made no sense. Like, I understand, like we've talked about it, some movies are based off books so loosely that it's like, we just need the rights, buddy. We don't actually need your help, you know? Like we said, Mean Girls, like we don't need need your rights. Like, we're not really planning. Jojo Rabbit too, like he did that too. Like Taika Waititi, he was just like, hey, I just need this. Like, I'm gonna go.
Sometimes they literally just need the character, or they need like the main plot or whatever it is. But
it's just to not get a lawsuit.
And if you're trying to adapt a book series like this, like they were planning on making it a whole series. Don't tell me like, oh, they were just trying to make this one, but they were planning it to be like the Hunger Games like type shit. Like they were trying to do that.
You wanted it to be the second Harry Potter.
Yeah, but how are you gonna do that and change everything? Like, who are you trying to please? Nobody. Trying to make them all like teenagers, whatever. Like, it just doesn't. It doesn't work.
I didn't get it because it's like Harry Potter did it. And it was successful. And Hollywood is known for being let's do the same thing over and over again so we get money. So it's like, how come you see such a success and you're like, nah.
No. I think, I don't know if they got distracted by the whole Hunger Games like era when all the teenagers were doing things. They're like, no, we can't make a movie with a 12-year-old in it. It has to be for the teens. But like Percy Jackson is it's a kid's series. Like, it's not.
I swear, like,
it's not really a young adult series. I don't think it's a young adult series.
I heard an excuse. They were like, oh, we were afraid that child actors would No,
just stop.
Put it away.
Let's be real. The only reason they rarely ever cast child actors is because like of laws, like labor laws and stuff like that.
Oh, it costs a lot of money, and you have to film really quickly because they go through puberty. It's a hassle.
And like there's only a certain amount of hours that they can work. It's all because of that one movie, The Twilight Zone or whatever it's called, when there was like that accident with it created a whole bunch of new laws and stuff like that. So now they don't.
Well, I mean, it's good.
They try not to if they can push it to like 18, if they can push it to get an actor that's over 18, they'll do it because
they'll try.
They don't want the hassle, I guess, of having kid actors. But it's just do it, bro.
But
just do it.
Wouldn't 16 be allowed because you're working? Like,
no, I'm pretty sure it's 18. I think the laws or something. Either it's 16 or 18, but I'm pretty sure it's 18, which is why any like TV shows, you'll rarely find TV shows that actually have like kids in it. If it's like teenagers, I commend
all the ones with Stranger Things. Never have Netflix be doing it. Like, they be getting children that's
what I'm saying. That's why it's like a big deal. That's why you don't see a lot of like kid stars that much anymore unless they're in movies, because movies are a different thing because it's a short-term thing. But if you're shooting like a long-term show, you won't find that many
I think Netflix is able to do that though because their shows are not really long-term.
That's what I'm saying. Stranger Things is like, it's kind of like filming a movie because it's just like a little bit longer, I guess. But like that's why if you see like high school shows especially, Usually they'll all be older than 18 because they don't want to have to deal with all those labor
You're
laws
right, because
like
Mila Kunis like lied about her age to get on That 70s Show. I remember watching an interview.
I think I heard about that.
Yeah, because she was actually in high school still. So
yeah,
she said she was 18, but she was like 17, 16 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like you'll see them, but not all the time. Like I'm thinking of shows like Riverdale or like Teen Wolf or Pretty Little Liars. Like, they're all over 18 because or at least close to 18 because once they turn 18, then they can start doing whatever. But yeah, no. Percy Jackson, trash. I can't wait for the new adaptation because I hope it's actually good.
I'm so excited. Who's doing that? Disney?
Netflix, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, Disney Plus.
Yeah,
Disney Plus.
You're thinking Avatar with Netflix.
I was thinking Avatar. Yeah,
I'm already. I know Avatar is safe. I don't know. I guess I just trust Netflix with my life now at this point. But.
Well, I mean, the producers are involved, so you like. I just either they're safe or they want to change everything. But I know.
I don't know. I just feel like Netflix hasn't exponentially messed up anything for me, like ever.
Right.
Actually, like it's never like, oh, this is terrible. It's just like it's just not my groove. But So that's probably why I trust them. But Disney, I'm watching them. But I know Rick is more involved with this one. So yeah, that's good. Okay, so I'm going to go on to my miss, I think, because I think it'll be a little different one. It's The Duff.
Yeah. I didn't read The Duff.
Mm-hmm. The book is so much better. So much more intricate. Oh, I can't speak English. And... It's like the lesson is so... Okay, first of all, let me just talk about this. Okay?
Get into it.
I think we did talk about this in my teen rom-com thing. In the book, there is no mean girl. There is no mean girl archetype.
I hate
But in the movie, they were like,
oh,
let's just put her in there. She served no purpose in this movie. In the book, it was so good that she didn't have a mean girl because... all her insecurities came from within, which is literally how most girls are insecure. It's not always...
That's literally the whole point. Like, there's not always a mean girl. Sometimes the mean girl is yourself.
Yes! And that was the point. She had to learn that, like, even though people are, like, what... The only mean person really was Wesley at first when he said it. But, like, other than that, all the term... Like, he even said repeatedly throughout the book, he's like, it doesn't mean you're fat and ugly. It's just... the word, you know? But she, like, internalized that and just went with it. And it showed that she had always been insecure in the first place. Like, you wouldn't let something like that affect you if you weren't insecure. There was no mean girl. It was way more, like, it's literally more about her going through her parents' divorce, too, and her dad falling into alcoholism a little bit. It's just so much deeper. I just don't understand how they ended up taking... only the title of the book, essentially, and the names of the characters, and making it such a shallow story. Like, it's like, you have the opportunity. The whole makeover thing, by the way, not even a thing at all.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like they just took every single, like, teen rom-com trope and from, like, outdated teen rom-com tropes, to be specific, and just put it in this movie. I think it would be really good. Exactly. Like, I don't hate the movie, but I can see why if you read the book, it would be irritating because I just hate when, like, modern teen movies try to put the mean girl every single time. First of all, why is it always a mean girl? Why are you trying to pit women against each other all the time when most of the time it's the boys being mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. In the Duff, the book, Wesley was the meanest one. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, why are you always trying to have...
And it was totally different. Like, their whole relationship was literally friends with benefits situation. They weren't even friends. They were just benefits. Because they were both trying to, like, relieve stress from the whole thing. So this idea that he thought she was a loser and he would, like, not, like, you know, she needs a makeover to get a man was not the case. She was able to get mans. But it showed that her insecurity was in herself. Like, she's able to get guys,
like, give me, like, modern like, movies are still doing this, and I hate it. Like, why are you always giving me, like, the mean girl, shallow, whatever? Like, aren't we tired? Aren't we tired of this?
I'm tired. I want a nap. Okay,
like, it's just stop. Just stop.
I would recommend...
Give me actual teenagers.
Exactly.
There's not always, like, a social hierarchy at every high school.
It's just an internal battle. I like the internal battle. I just like it. I recommend anyone to read the book. I think it's funny.
That's my list too.
I think it's good. If you want, when Corona's over, I would lend you gladly the book. I own it, actually.
Interesting.
That's how much I like it. So, like, I was so upset because I think I saw the trailer for it, if I'm not mistaken. And I definitely read the book before the movie came out. So I saw the trailer, I think, and I was like, ooh, this looks like a really cool concept. So I went out and just bought the book because I was like, you know, why not? And it was like, the book was so good. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, that's not what the trailer looks like. But you know what? Maybe they're going to fix it. Like, they're still going to keep the elements, you know? Mm-hmm. And they really didn't. Like, absolutely nothing from the book.
There's this one part in the movie that literally, like, the most cringy thing I've ever seen.
I know what you're going to say.
Thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe, yeah, but it's like when when they have the video of her in the change room and they're like, viral. Like, what is that? What is that? Who says that? A. B.
That's not how
even
the internet
if you wanted
works.
to make it viral, how? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Why?
Do you have everybody's emails? Are you CCing the whole
in the big year of, I don't know when this movie was, 2016? Who is mass texting anymore? Nobody has everyone's phone number. That's not how it works. Like, you can tell this was made by adults. Like, you could tell this movie was made by 40-year-olds who have no idea how teenagers work.
Exactly.
Oh,
I literally should have just said,
viral.
I'm going to put it on, like, let's put this on, oh my gosh, like, is it on YouTube? That could have been the line, literally. Like,
oh my god, let's put it on YouTube. And then it gets viral.
Is it on Twitter? That's it.
But saying, oh, let's make it viral, you can't. Like, that's not how it works. That's not how the internet works, you geezers.
If it was that easy, do you think... Oh my goodness. Oh my...
Anyways.
Oh, I wish we could just say that about this podcast. Viral. And then we just text it to everybody. Exactly. Okay, that's my miss. You can go. I think I need to cool down a little bit.
Oh, okay. I'm getting heated up again because this is gonna be... I'm gonna yell about this one a little bit. Insurgent.
Oh,
specifically. It's the Divergent series, specifically Insurgent.
Yeah, because, I have that too. So I didn't watch Insurgent because it looked ridiculous from the trailer.
Oh my goodness! Literally, I wasted an hour of my life. I didn't even watch the whole thing. I wasted an hour of my life watching that. So
did you watch it at home? Sorry.
Pardon?
Did you watch it in theaters?
Yeah. No. I streamed it illegally because I
okay.
Because I knew it was gonna be bad. Okay. So basically, I read the book series like before it came out. Same as the Hunger Games, actually, somebody recommended the book series to me before the movies even were announced or anything. Like, someone just said, "Oh, the movies are gonna come out like next year." It was something like that. Like, it was in the books were
really popular.
The books were popular before the the movies. Yeah. So somebody recommended it to me and they're like, oh, there's gonna be a movie at some point, which is pretty normal for any like YA fiction or whatever. So I read them, whatever. The first Divergent movie, not bad, could be better, but not terrible.
No, it was fine.
It was pretty okay. Like, I still have a couple problems, but it wasn't trash. Like, it was okay. It had potential, I guess. Exactly, but then I don't know what they did with Insurgent. They literally just sat in that room and said, okay, you see this book? No, we're not doing that. Throw it away. They just changed everything. Like, any possible detail that they could have gotten from that book, they changed it. Like, I've never seen a book to movie adaptation with the least amount of similarities. Like, if you're doing it in the first place, like if they took it in Divergent and then made it different and then they wanted to make the whole series different, fine. But the fact that Divergent was similar and then they went to Insurgent and said, nah, scrap all of that. We're going to just change everything. It was so annoying. I remember sitting there and being like, okay, I'm going to make note of everything that's similar to the book. And I think I only had like 3 things that they kept the same as the book. Everything was different. The whole concept of it, like this, Divergent box or whatever, like only a box that only Divergents can open. What is that? Who came up with that? That's not even what the book is about. And that literally ruined the whole series, the whole book series for me. It ruined the whole movie series. I didn't even watch the last 2 books. I was just mad. So
they did the Allegiant part 1,
yes,
part 2?
They did the full series.
That's a joke. But
obviously it flopped because Insurgent was so bad. Nobody was trying to watch Allegiant, but they did part 1 and part 2.
They should have pulled Sea of Monsters, which is the second installment of the Percy Jackson movies, and killed off the main villain for the rest of the series in that. So I
didn't watch Sea of Monsters. What did they do? Did they kill off?
He ate Luke. Luke died in the second movie. Yes.
What?
Yes, Monica.
Oh my God.
The main villain for the 6 books or 5 books that are in.
Okay, I just finished Sea of Monsters, so I don't know what the rest of the series is saying, but what?
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
It's not a spoiler. He's in the rest of the books, okay? So the movie is dumb. So dumb. But anyways,
no,
Divergent
literally,
done that,
I want to see what they have on Rotten Tomatoes because I know it's very low.
It's probably a 9 or 13. If it has 28. Any higher than some movies that I like,
it's 28%.
28.
It was terrible.
I feel like there's some good rom-coms that have a lower score than that, and I'm gonna go to Rotten Tomatoes.
I feel like the people who gave it an okay review are the people who didn't read the books.
True.
Like, they probably just thought it was some next action movie. But if you even read if you even read the plot summary of the book on Wikipedia and then you watch the movie, you would realize how stupid it is. Like, it literally doesn't make any sense.
Crazy.
So yeah, that one was
for no reason.
So
for
annoying.
Actual no reason.
I was frustrated.
Did the first movie perform bad? Like, I'm trying to understand why they would change the second movie so much. I
don't know. Like, the first movie I remember got a lot of, like, I'm reading the little blurb here and it says some critics found it to be an improvement over its preceded whatever. The first
predecessor?
One. Yeah, that. But it was.
Were they lit? Okay, that's dumb. If they're listening to critics, they're idiots. Because the critics are not paying for your movie, the fans are. So screw what they say if that's what you're thinking. Like, are you trying to go for the Oscar? I don't think you're going to get it, period. So, it's like,
no, it was bad. It's terrible. I didn't finish it. Don't plan on ever finishing it. Maybe one day if I feel like getting angry, I'll watch it. But it was just like, why?
That's like bad marketing. Everything? You should know who your audience is. I just don't understand. That from a business standpoint, that's the stupidest move I've ever heard of. That's like Mean Girls making a sequel, which they did, and making it like about sports or something. It's like, what is this your audience? I don't understand.
Well, I feel like in general, I have problems with the book series in general. I think it should have been a standalone book. I don't know why it had to be a series. But you could have made an improvement with the movie, but they just made it worse.
I think 2 books would have been okay. Just
maybe,
2.
Yeah. Maybe a duology.
Yeah,
duology.
Duology. I think 2 would have been good. That's it. Because maybe, a lot of stuff happened. Yeah. Because I think you would have needed the second 2, or she could have made a really long first book. But
that's what I'm saying. Because the first book's pretty short. You could have made it longer, rounded it out a little bit, and then finished it at that. But it's just, you could tell the third book was like super dragged out, like trying to come up with this whole war thing. Like, just no.
Yeah. That's why. But anyways, I feel like first book would be her like, realizing what's happening, and she's like, oh my gosh, and then second book would be her like defeating. I think that would have been okay.
Yeah. Bring back duologies. Duologies should be more common. Why do you always have to be trilogies, quadruple books, whatever?
It's all about the money. I want y'all to be dedicated to the art, okay? If the story in your heart tells you it doesn't need to be that long, it doesn't need to be that long. Just end it. Like, I don't like none of this. None of that. You should know what your ending is before you start. And it was clear that she did not know that, by the way.
Yeah.
Because the third book with the switching perspectives, I ain't with it. Okay. This is my last one. It's not really, again, like the other ones I named, other than Tifio's, were like actual fails, like to me, which one of them was Insurgent Divergent 2. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I used to read those books like religiously. I
love those books. I read them so many times.
I loved how miserable he was. Like, I'm into it. I used to read those. I was big into diaries, by the way. There was a period of books. You know what I'm saying? Like an era of books where diaries were it. Dear Dumb Diary.
Dear Dumb Diary.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Geek. Whatever. I forgot what it was.
There's another
Geek
one.
Diaries, something like that. Whatever. I read
Dork Diaries.
Dork Diaries. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna mess that so bad.
Geek Diaries.
I was about to say Geek Charming, and I was like, no, that's alright.
Oh, what a good movie.
I know.
Okay.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Again, it has to do with me being a huge fan. This is my problem. The movie wasn't as funny as the books. That's it.
No.
That's my biggest problem. The comedy was not there. I did like the casting because he was a kid.
Yeah, the casting was really good.
I just think, like, I don't know. I feel like they needed, it would have been awesome. Like, I'm projecting here. But I feel like they should have gotten, like, a director, like James Gunn or Taika Waititi. One of those guys. Like, their style is very, like, ridiculous humor. I feel like that would have made sense for a movie like that. Like, you need, like, improv a little bit, a little, like, jokes. You need, like, the kids to have rapport. Like, I feel like that would have been so good as a movie. And also, I'm not a little boy, but if I were a little boy, I would want that little boy, representation. I don't think there's a lot of movies about tweens, just being tweens. Like, he wasn't a cool kid. He was just a simple kid going through life, you know?
And like, you need like that middle school representation.
Middle ground, exactly. And I think it could have been, even as a show, actually, I think it would have been okay.
Oh, but it would have been a really good show.
I think
because
so too.
It's like a, what's it called? It's like a long book series, so
it is.
And it's like, they could have made a whole TV show out of it.
Like, very Sweet Life on Deck kind of thing, like, you know.
Yeah, like a maybe not a sitcom, but like a,
not a sitcom necessarily, but yes, yeah.
But it would have been like a good like 30-minute episodes kind of thing.
Yeah,
because that's kind of what the books felt like. Interesting. Yeah, no, I
feel like they definitely could have done that. So I just felt like it was it's not a huge miss. Like, I don't particularly remember the movie that well, so that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a huge miss because I would have remembered if it sucked.
Mm-hmm. But it wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I just remember it not being as funny at all. Like,
yeah, I liked Roderick, the character, the guy who played Roderick. He was really good.
But I just expected like more laugh out loud moments. I didn't get that, and that's what I wanted.
I love that book series though. It's so good.
Yes, it's killer actually. It's really good.
I've just have a couple more, but I'm not gonna go too much into them because they're pretty simple reasons why I don't like them. Like, for example, I have Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire specifically.
Oh, really?
I did not like the movie adaptation for it. So if you don't know this, I read the Harry Potter book series for the first time in like grade 12, so a couple years ago. I read
it late too.
And I read one book and then I watched the movie right after. That's how I kind of went through it. Dang. Because I'd never watched the movies either.
Me neither.
Like, I was super anti Harry Potter. I don't know. I just didn't like the idea of Harry Potter until 12th grade. Where I was like,
same.
You know what? Let me get into it.
I was trying to be a hipster. I was like, everybody loves it, so I don't like it.
Yeah. So I read the book. I would read one book and then watch the movie right after, and then so on and so forth. That's usually what I do when I go through series like that. Like, that's what I did with the Hunger Games.
It's because I was a Percy Jackson fan too, so I was trying to be like, you know, the enemy. I was just being lame, but I get what you're saying. I read it later on in life too, but I read all of it and then watched all the movies.
Yeah, so I read all of it and watched all the movies, like all in that sequence, and then I just remember getting to Goblet of Fire, and Goblet of Fire is my favorite book in the Harry Potter series. It is so fantastic. Like, the story is like, there's so much going on and it all kind of fits together really well.
I'm gonna go reread that later.
Yeah, I just hated that the movie had to take out so many details. Like, that's my only problem with it. I just hated all the details that they had to take out. It made it so much like they watered it down so much.
It was like a shallow story. I agree.
Yeah, it was a really watered down version, and it just kind of was disappointing because it was my favorite book. But that's pretty much the only reason why. And then also I have The Giver on here. Not that I loved the book or anything. It was an okay book. It was whatever, but the movie was just like, why? Like, it was like, first of all, again, this boy is supposed to be like 12 or something, but they made it some like older, like super attractive dude. Like, that's not the point.
It really didn't matter to the story at all. Like,
no, and like,
they can't even see color, y'all.
I don't even remember the movie that well, but I just know they tried to do so many extra things with it and it just didn't really work. Like, the whole like meat and bones of the movie is his like visions or whatever that he has, but I feel like they were trying to do too much with the like futuristic like whatever shit that was going on. But my last one, my last one on my list, I do want to get into a little bit, but it's Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I don't know if you know that one.
I totally forgot they made a movie.
Yeah, so it's like, if you don't know it, it's a book, but it's super interesting because it's like intertwined with a bunch of photographs, like old photographs that go with the story. But it's like, it has this like super creepy, like eerie vibe to it, I guess. I know I talk a lot about vibe. I don't know. I feel like every book or movie I watch has like a certain vibe. But it's like supposed to be this like super dark. It's supposed to be like a kid's kind of teen book, but it's kind of dark for what it is. Like almost bordering on horror sometimes, but I feel like the movie, they tried to go way too fantasy with it, and also I don't like how they switched around a bunch of the kids like abilities,
powers,
like basically,
right?
Yeah, the way it was is like, if you don't know the story, it's like this kid who he finds this home like on this British island or whatever, and it's like they're stuck inside a time loop from the 40s, and it's like all these kids in the home have these special powers, and they just like switched around all the powers. Again, they tried to make it into a whole romance thing, which is like not the whole point of the book. And I was really mad. I feel like it's one of those movies where if I was a movie director, like, I can see it in my head how I would like do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I wish I was a movie director so I could make this movie and actually make it super eerie and like creepy. Like, first of all, I would make it in like all black and white, and I would make it I don't know, suspenseful. That's the word I'm looking for.
You should make it like Addams Family style. Like, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
like,
but not like in the comedy sense, but like I would make it like
the aesthetics of.
Yeah, it would be kind of like super. It would be like a little bit dark, not as fantastical, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one like, I was really disappointed by. So.
Yeah, I could imagine it. I haven't watched the movie, so because like I don't know, the trailer just didn't.
That's what I'm saying. I watched the trailer too, and I was like not excited. I was like, oh, that doesn't look like it's supposed to look.
Yeah, it's strange. Well. All right. So we have discussed our faves, but like clearly there's like obviously a theme between all the ones that we did like and didn't. So do you want to talk a little bit about like what you think makes a good adaptation or a bad one? Or like,
I mean, we kind of got on some of the points, but I wrote down like a list. Basically, this is your what it takes to make a good book to movie adaptation. Do these things and chances are you'll be fine. You won't make a trash one, but I just have a couple of points here. So first of all, I feel like it's really important. You need to compensate for the loss of like the internal voice. You know, when you're reading a book, you get all the details because you're getting somebody speaking, and there's no really concept of time in a book because they can stop and explain this whole entire thing to you in like 2 seconds have gone by, right? So I feel like you need to compensate for that. I feel like you could do that in 2 ways. You can narrate, but narration,
voiceovers,
narration doesn't always work. It kind of makes it a little
it has
cheesy,
to be.
I guess.
There's only a couple situations. Like if it's like people like in a normal setting, then you can have voiceovers. But if it's like fantasy or something, it might not, or action, it might not work.
Yeah, and it just kind of like it makes it a little. I don't know, cheesy, kind of like I'm thinking of like Twilight. They tried to put narration in Twilight, but it was kind of like sporadic.
That was, like, useless. It wasn't even needed.
Like if you're gonna do narration, make it good, like make it part of the plot. But I don't think that's the best way to go about it, because it's like it can kind of border into exposition where you're like saying it instead of showing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think in terms of compensation, if you don't have that voice, like just try to like show more of what's going on. You know, like just show it. If just show everything if you can. Like try to make it look good. Like try to excite the eyes a little bit. You know what I mean? But yeah, you definitely. I understand. Even
showing character reactions is good. Like like let's say in the book she was confused, but like she just said it in the book. Maybe have a scene where she's like crumpling up paper. Like that's not that hard to like do, but you like to show frustration or.
I feel like that's one of the hardest things to do when you're I can't speak for somebody adapting. I was gonna say adapting. When you're adapting a movie from a book, it's hard to lose that internal voice because basically you don't have to show any. Like the book does all the talking for you, but I feel like if you're gonna do that in a movie, just either try your best to include everything they're explaining, or just forego it altogether and try to just show it and make it like look really nice or whatever it is. Yeah, but exposition is like the worst thing you could do, where literally the whole time it's like I'm here to watch a movie. I'm not here to read an audiobook. Like I don't need you to explain everything that's going on or everything that's about to happen. And please, for the love of God, do not mess with the characters' age, race, appearance, things like that. Just don't do it. What's the point? What is the purpose? You know what I mean? Because it's like
I will say only exceptions is like small things. Like, don't, like, obviously completely change a person, but I do sometimes, if the actor's really good, I will forgive it. I'm not gonna lie. I was literally about to say, I'm talking, like, major changes. Like, obviously, if this one character has blue eyes and he doesn't have blue eyes anymore, or curly hair and he doesn't have curly hair anymore, or, for example, a side character that, you know, exactly. maybe a specific appearance wasn't really talked about much and you want to change it, fine. But especially with the main character, exactly,
I'm talking like, and in terms of when I say race, I mean whitewashing. Specifically, if you're trying to, if you want to change one character, if your whole cast is white, for example, and you want to just switch one of the side characters or whatever it is, totally fine. I'm not mad at that. That's totally fine. However, when it's whitewashing, that's a different story. You're just you know, that's a different story. But I think, like, you need to stop messing with the age. Like, just stop, you know?
Age is just, come on now.
Like, there's only so much you can change to the point where you start messing with the heart of the story, which is the characters. Especially when you're going off a book.
Yeah.
Especially when you're going off a book, when you when you read the book, you really get to know these characters and you start to see them a certain way. No matter what you do, like I'm just saying, sometimes changes for the better. That's true, but you have to be careful because people are reading the book with that character in mind, and the minute you change major things about them, people are automatically not gonna like it. Like, you could argue to the end of the earth, like saying, oh, it's fine if I changed it, whatever. Maybe it is. Maybe what you did was a good change, but you can't deny the fact that people aren't going to like it because they got to know the character in a certain way and then you switched it around.
Just so, basically, if you're going to do a change, you have to prove in the movie that it was useful. That's
exactly.
That's
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just, I wrote here, it's just not worth the backlash that you're going to get. And it's going to ruin the feel of the story, especially when it comes to age. I think it ruins the feel completely. When you have a kid versus a teenager, that's a whole different personality.
100%.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing, you're making a movie. So I feel like a lot of book to movie adaptation just completely forget that cinematography is a thing. Like, you're still able to make a good movie. You don't have to... It's not one or the other. You know what I mean? It's not, oh, we're making a book to movie adaptation, or I'm making a really good... nice looking movie. Like, you can do both. I've never seen a book to movie adaptation do something a little different. It's always the same kind of like cinematography, the same kind of thing, like super ordinary. Like, I've never seen someone just really take it to the next level and make it super interesting as a movie in terms of like cinematography and stuff like that. Because like books, you read a book and you imagine things in your head. So like, I need to be seeing some cool shit on the screen, you know what I mean? If it's not, and this is like not for sci-fi, I feel like when you have sci-fi there's a lot going on already, but if it's like a normal story, I don't know, like not sci-fi, you have so much room to make it like super interesting in the cinematography. So like do that.
I think this is pertaining to a lot of like more modern things that have been done, because like I feel like older book to movie adaptations did do that, like
maybe
but I think recently it's just kind of plummeted. Like a lot of the misses we named are like new ones.
Yeah. Like I'm like I said at the beginning, I'm more knowledgeable in like young adult fiction, whatever one. So I'm thinking specifically of those. I've never seen them try to do something interesting. You know, I think a good example of what I'm trying to say is like Great Gatsby, what I said before, how they went with like a super eclectic like cinematography and costuming and stuff like that, where it's like it's just a nice really movie to look at, you know what I mean? And my last kind of like point is get the writer of the book involved. Please just do it. Like,
I think so.
What is the purpose of completely shutting out the writer to input? Like, the writer is the one who knows the story the most. Like, just include them. But yeah, pretty much.
I feel like they should. I said overall, I don't really, because there's so many different ones, right? Because like when I think of the ones who don't do that is, like you said, the young adult ones. But there are a lot of other ones that I was like surprised by, that like I read the book later and I'm like, no, actually I like that they changed that, or that was good. It made sense. So it's just like, remember that storytelling is an art, okay? And just do it right. Storytelling in a book, completely different from storytelling in a movie. And that's it. As long as the person understands it and is a good storyteller, I don't think there should be a problem. Like, I literally believe that any good director / writer / producer, whatever, is able to take any book and make it into a good movie if they're, you know, skilled, right? So I think that's the biggest thing to the core. Obviously, the tips you gave are like the bare minimum. Like, that's what you could do to like get like at least
that's something that's like the base of like you know, that's like the base. Obviously after that you have to tell a good
but if
story,
you stray from those, you have to be good. And if you are good, I don't need to tell you anything, you know what I'm saying? But or we don't need, it's not like we're actually talking to directors. We say that we don't need to say anything, but I just, that's how I feel about that. It's just like, if you impress me, I'm gonna shut my mouth. That's it. So don't make stupid mistakes. That's it. I just don't, like, I will admit understand.
When like if it's a not a great adaptation but it's a good movie in itself, I'll admit it. I'll say oh, it's not really good adaptation, however it's still a good movie to watch because of this and this and this, whatever.
Sure.
So just, you know, it's fine. But like I also have another like note that I wrote here, which is like, I honestly just hate the kind of like Hollywood culture around like, you know, a lot of movies in general, they'll not like that. That's why it's hard for new actors to get into the business, because they would rather cast a big actor to draw in more audience rather than cast someone new.
I hate
so
that.
I just wish they would stop doing
adaptations.
that.
Because
especially
it's like
for book adaptations.
Have a fan base. You already have a fan base.
So that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, so why not do that for book to movie adaptations that have a big fan base? Because you already have that. You already are gonna get people to come. So why don't you do an open casting? Like, try your best to find someone that really emulates the character. Don't just look for some big star. Like, I would rather have like a nobody play the character really, really well than like a super famous actor who's gonna.
I love nobodies. I really am not one who's like, oh, so and so's in it, let me go see it. Like, I really don't care.
I literally don't know anyone who does that, honestly. Like, who's like, I'll do it for directors. If a director is directing a movie, I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna go watch it. But the actor, I honestly don't really care.
I don't unless like I like let's say maybe I like them from a show and then they're doing a movie. I might be more interested, but I never go like, oh, you know.
That's what I'm saying.
And doing a movie, it has to be good. Like, no one thinks that.
Exactly. Like, and I think for books, it's even more important because I feel like if you get a really big Hollywood actor for a book, unless they really match the character super well, I don't even think that's a good idea in general. Because when you read a book, you see the character for themselves, but then when you put a big actor instead, I feel like you kind of lose your perception of the character a little bit. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I think so too.
I know we're going to disagree on this one, but like. That's what they did for. I don't like this idea that like, oh, people on Twitter or Instagram are the ones like looking up just like people that look like the character and they're like, this should be the person, and I'm like, what? Like that's
I mean that's like fan casting. Like, you have to find,
even though like she was, you know, controversial. Like, some people liked her, some people didn't. But that's how she basically, like, a lot of people were like, Emma Stone looks like her. And I'm like, well, can we calm down and, like, think about... Because I don't want this, like, culture of... Same thing with Mulan. They were trying to do that. Thankfully, they didn't go with that direction. But a lot of people were like, oh, this one Asian actress I saw in this one show looks like Mulan. She should be Mulan. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, are you guys even considering, like... There's probably someone we don't even know about who would be perfect for the role.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I wish they would do more open castings for book to movie adaptations. Exactly. Like, especially when it's like a book that already has a big fan base. Like, you're better off getting someone new, because I feel like when you look at someone that you've already seen in like 50,000 other movies, it just ruins your whole perception of the character, in my opinion.
Or the Shailene Woodley effect, when they kept putting her in 10,000 movies that year. I was like, what is happening?
And it still messes with my head, because when I think of Hazel Grace in my head, now I have to picture Shailene Woodley, and then when I think of what's her name, Tris from Divergent, I also have to think of Shailene Woodley, and it just messes with everything.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And it was like around the same time, and I'm like, these are the same people reading the same books, okay? That's the same 12-year-old girls. Like, do not confuse them. Like, it's crazy.
Exactly.
It's wild.
Yeah, that I just wish they did more, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Monica.
Yes.
Did you know?
Did I know?
This movie where, what's her face? Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. Anne Hathaway stars in it. She cannot...
Princess Diaries?
No, she can't. That would be obvious. She is not allowed to do what she wants, because when people tell her what to do, she must.
The Devil Wears Prada?
No.
Oh, because I read both of those books, so I'm not really sure.
And it includes a cover of Somebody to Love in the movie.
What?
I'm going to give you 3 seconds. 3.
I don't know. Wait, what's going on? I don't know.
1.
Anne Hathaway?
Ella Enchanted!
Oh, I did know that was a book.
It was a book.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Okay.
I didn't watch... I've only seen, like, clips of the movie, though. I haven't watched the whole movie.
Oh, really? Oh, my
God.
Sorry, I just assumed you knew that. Okay.
No, I know the movie. I've, like, watched it. I just never actually sat down and watched the entire thing from start to finish.
I've seen it, like, 500 times. Okay.
Dang. Is it, like, a novel, or is it, like, a fairy tale?
It's just, like, a kid's book. Like, the equivalent of, like a chapter book. Kid's chapter.
Interesting.
Okay. Next one.
Oh, you have another one? Okay.
Yeah. Dun dun. Dun dun. Dun 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 dun.
Okay. Jaws?
Yes.
That's also a novel?
Yes. I did not do research on that book, so don't ask me too many questions about it. But it is
no, I feel like 80% of all movies that are made, like, are based off something. Like,
that's what I'm thinking now.
Nobody's like, original anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore. No one's ever been original.
No one's. Okay, another one. Back when she was a darling, Lindsay Lohan did a movie with Jamie Lynn. I forgot her last name.
Jamie Lynn Spears?
Yes.
Britney Spears' sister?
That's wrong. No. It's whatever. Okay. She's in a different body than her own.
Life size? No, that's not it.
No, she has a lot of problems with a certain family member of hers, and they have an out of body experience.
Oh, Freaky Friday.
Yes.
That's a book, really?
Yes, it's a book. It's a book.
Oh.
I would say like a tween novel. It's actually I'm pretty sure the same name. Like it's not even like at all. Yeah, so it's not like obscure.
Oh, I just looked it up. Yeah. 1972 novel.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. I think this will be, and I think that's why.
But look at that. Look at that. The book is actually a 13-year-old girl, but then they made her into a teenager.
Wow.
They're always doing that.
Wow. That's a little better because she does have to like interact with the stepdad. So if she was 13, not that she's 16, that it's better.
That's any better, but
but it's still like, even grosser, you know? Also, the weirdo boyfriend could not have fallen in love with
no
13-year-old. Actually, that would have been kind of funny. Like a 13-year-old being like, I'm in love with your mom. And she's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
That could have been funny. Okay. I think this is the last one I'm going to go for. This one's a pretty modern movie. Stars in Aussie Blondie. I don't know why I said it like that. A brunette girl who's alternative and doesn't want to go to class until her dad tells her, you join a club and I'll pay for your DJ school.
Oh my god, Pitch Perfect is a book?
Yes. Not Pitch Perfect. It's called Acapella College and Hookups or something like that. But it's based off a book.
I did not know that. I feel like maybe I read that at some point, but I read that it was based off a book, but
yes.
Interesting.
I discovered it because Netflix has a category that says like movies based off books, and then it was there and I was like, what do you mean, Netflix? What are you
it's a nonfiction book. Pitch Perfect,
like
The Quest for Collegiate Acapella.
Yeah.
Something.
Just like Mean Girls. Very similar.
Interesting.
It's like a stretch, but I still think it's cool to know.
Those are I mean, I didn't know Mean Girls was based off a book for a really long time, so.
Yes.
Like a parenting book.
That, to be honest, yeah.
What?
So I'm pretty sure you told me that. Anyway,
probably,
so. Yeah, but that was fun. I had fun.
That was interesting. I mean, I just hope to see some better book to movie adaptations in the future.
Yeah,
you know?
I hope they surprise me. I like when they surprise me, like when I didn't know, and then I'm like, oh, this was good. So.
Exactly.
And I hope they don't mess up any more of my series. So.
I know the Legend series by Mary Lou is being turned into a movie.
Yes.
And I'm so nervous. Like I really hope they don't mess it up. She said the casting is like gonna be good, but I'm scared because
honestly, her description of her main character, I was already like, when I read the book, I was like, this is not gonna be casted well. Like,
no, that's what I'm saying because the main character is like a half Asian blonde guy with long hair. It just doesn't, I can't picture it, so I just wonder how they're gonna do that. And also the main girl, June, doesn't really have, she's kind of racially ambiguous, I'm pretty sure. Like he said that in the book, I'm pretty sure he said that she's like kind of looks Native American-ish, but it's still not really clear because all of the fan castings I've seen,
worried for him.
All of the fan castings of her I've seen though, like she's been Asian, which I mean I wouldn't mind, but I just know in the book she's not Asian, so I'm really confused as to what they're gonna do with that.
Because he's like Mongolian /
Russian and Mongolian,
whatever.
So, anyways,
Well, anyways,
go read the Legend series if you haven't already.
Go read that. After listening to this podcast, we hope that you enjoyed it. What we want you to do is subscribe. Like this video or podcast, give us a rating. Follow us on Instagram at FlickChicksPod. Indeed. And also we will be coming back at you next week with a little bit of a different thing. We're going to be roasting a TV show by the fire.
We're venturing into the other realm of visual media.
Exactly. So you should stay tuned to know what that TV show is. We're not going to tell you because you're going to come back.
It's going to be a surprise.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be interesting, definitely. It's definitely going to be roasting because I think I have a lot of roasting to do.
You do have a lot of roasting to do. I will roast as accordingly, but I had a fun time. But, enough about this. We will catch you guys next week.
Next week.
Okay.
See ya. Bye.